Hey, welcome in. Well, stories like this are like an early birthday present because they're so easy, and they're fun because they're funny. Watching socialists fail is hilarious. I mean, here's the headline. Socialist magazine, Current Affairs, fires staff for trying to organize workers' co-op. I mean, you just can't make it up. I'll tell you what the headline should be. Should be, Commie Magazine fires staff for being commies. That should be the headline. I mean, what did the guy who runs this magazine think was going to happen? The founder of Socialist magazine, Current Affairs, has reportedly effectively fired several staff members after they tried to organize a workers' co-op. Former employees claimed in a letter on Wednesday. So the commie employees that work at the Commie Magazine acted like commies. Okay, big shock. Let's see. The letter, which was addressed to comrades, they call each other comrade. Isn't that hilarious? It's adorable, really. By several employees of the print and digital magazine that focuses on topics from a left-wing perspective, said that they had been effectively fired by the founder, Nathan J. Robinson, who has also authored a book titled Why You Should Be a Socialist, Unless You Work For Me. Just going to interrupt for 1 second to say, if you like this content, subscribe so you can see more. Thanks a lot. I mean, I think this is glorious. I think this is the best thing I've seen all day. In a tweet accompanying the letter, managing and amusements editor Lita Gold wrote that, quote, I am grieved to tell you that Nathan J. Robinson has effectively fired me and most of the Current Affairs staff because we were trying to organize a workers' co-op. This isn't a bit. I wish it was. Well, all they have to do is not be a communist, and this sort of thing wouldn't happen. You might wonder why the staff wouldn't just go and start their own workers' co-op, their own, socialist workers' co-op, workers' paradise, let's call it. Why wouldn't they just go and do that? Well, because it's hard, because it's difficult. And they don't want to put in the work and the investment and the risk of starting their own workers' co-op paradise. Commie Magazine. It's a lot easier to take over something that it already exists, that somebody else has already put the work into and the investment and the risk into. So, as usual, the commies just want everybody else's stuff. They don't want to build. That's hard. Why not just take somebody else's company? And you better believe in their minds, they think they deserve it. So what are we talking about here? Workers' co-ops are organizations that are owned and run by their members, where workers participate in the profits, oversight, and often management of the enterprise using democratic practices. That's according to the United States Federation of Worker Cooperatives. Here's the problem with that. In business, you kind of need a leader. Like, there's no room for a visionary in a co-op. There's no room for a risk taker. And not everybody's a leader. Not everyone is particularly bright either. And the thing is, without, real leaders and visionaries, in short, a co-op is not going to be very competitive. It's not going to be able to move quickly. It's not going to be able to adapt quickly because you're just going to have a bunch of people arguing. And most of them are going to be kind of dumb, especially if they're communists. That kind of goes without saying. Anyway, explaining Robinson's alleged actions, Robinson is the founder of the magazine. The employees wrote, quote, on August 8th, editor-in-chief Nathan J. Robinson, author of Why You Should Be a Socialist, unilaterally fired most of the workforce to avoid an organizational restructuring that would limit his personal power. Yes, we were fired by the editor-in-chief of a socialist magazine for trying to start a worker co-op. You know what? Just be glad Stalin wasn't the editor-in-chief, or Mao. It could have been worse, trust me. So let's see. The employee said that the firing came after they had been in discussions for more than a year about an organizational about an organization restructuring and had even hired a business manager to help shepherd the magazine through the process of creating a more democratic workplace. So, I mean, you can't really blame them because the boss is a socialist and told them to be socialists, so they're just acting like that. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, probably something along the lines of, rules for thee, but not for me, which is how socialist leaders tend to operate, right? Let's see. However, the employees claimed that after a Zoom meeting on August 7th, that Nathan became agitated as he insisted that in our attempt to set shared internal values, we were disregarding his vision for current affairs. Yeah, you were trying to take it over. You were trying to take over his company, and apparently even commies don't like that. So at this point, things got rough. I guess there was a purge. You might call it a purge. Robinson allegedly then removed employees from the company's Slack channel the next day and sent letters requesting resignations while writing in individual letters to staff members that he had irreparably lost faith in our ability to work together. Well, that doesn't sound like solidarity to me. Again, I don't know what anybody really expected out of this. The employee said that 24 hours later, Robinson retracted his statements and admitted, quote, that he simply did not want current affairs to be a democratic workplace, as he believes that the magazine and media venture we have collectively created is purely his. Well, he's right. I mean, he's right. I mean, I guess he's finally discovered the value in private property and capitalism. And good for him. I applaud him for this. Maybe he can change his magazine to be a capitalist magazine. Nothing would please me more, I can tell you. So get this. This is too rich here. Robinson has been critical in the past about companies such as Kickstarter for allegedly retaliating against workers who tried to unionize, writing that, quote, people should partner with companies that align with their values. He forgot to add comrade at the end there. So I'm going to say something now that I think that obviously this Mr. Robinson from Current Affairs magazine would agree with. There's a problem, and that's that not everybody is equally smart or equally dedicated, and not every opinion is equally valuable. We all know this, right? We all know this just from dealing with people, just from being alive. How about your personal life? Do you want your personal life to be run by committee? Probably a really bad idea. Nobody would like that. And again, this is why we don't put up, every political or economic issue up to a plebiscite. Working for somebody doesn't mean that you own that doesn't mean you can just take their house, their car, because you work for somebody. I don't think so. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you just like to listen, there's the podcast, Radio Baloney. It's on pretty much every platform. If you look for it, you will find it. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.